Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Tonight, even as ceasefire talks continued, the front showed no signs of peace drawing closer. Russian troops have attacked Ukraine with over 100 drones. Now, one of the targets of the attack was the Odessa region. According to the regional military administration, a gas station attendant was injured when the blast wave shattered a window. Meanwhile, the Rostov region was under attack by Ukrainian drones last night. Explosions were heard in the city of Milerovo. One of the probable targets of the overnight attack could have been a local military airfield from which the Russian army often launched Shahed-type drones against Ukraine. Now, on the front line, Ukrainian analysts believe that the Ukrainian counter-offensive in the border area of the Sumy region is a sign that this sector hasn't yet settled into the standard configuration in other parts of the front, where problems with logistics, heavy drone activity and an abundance of landmines makes it almost impossible for either side to actually advance. They also warn the situation could deteriorate if capable commanders and trained units are redeployed elsewhere. Russian troops have also been using drones to clear the path of their advance towards Liman and Siversk, where they previously had difficulty operating. The Institute for the Study of War reports that in the spring, Russian forces improved their ability to cut off Ukrainian supply lines in wooded areas, particularly in the Serebryantski forest near Liman and Siversk. The think tank also says that the Russians are launching missile strikes on Ukrainian training grounds in the near rear using advanced reconnaissance UAVs. The report says that the Russians have begun using tactical UAVs with extended flight range or other modifications to strike Ukrainian military, industrial and civilian infrastructure in large frontline cities. On the Kherson front, Ukrainian defense forces struck a large Russian field ammunition depot. Due to the abnormal heat, the scale of the fire became simply apocalyptic, burning down literally everything. The number of destroyed dugouts is difficult to estimate. Additionally, all the equipment and technical gear that was in the dugouts and out in the open was burned down. Just look at the consequences of this blaze.
Это вот экшен, короче. Все горит. Что будем с этим делать? Ой-ой. Ой-ой. Какой-то ой-ой. Происходит вообще ой-ой. О, у хохлов праздник сегодня, дали они джазы.
Здесь все горит. Ё-моё. БК там, БК стреляет. Пипец. Охренеть. Блин, как жарко, а?
Every day, in the skies over Ukraine, a dramatic struggle is taking place between drones and air defenses. But we don't often get to see actual footage of this technological race. In most cases, it's just statistics. A drone was shot down here, a missile evaded air defense systems there. Well, buckle up, because today is very different. In the skies over Crimea, Ukrainian intelligence operatives flew a flock of deadly UAVs straight at Moscow's precious radar installations, including the Nebo and Padlyot systems. Expensive stuff, but not good enough to stop Ukrainian drones from reaching their goals. In fact, we can actually see a Russian S-400 air defense unit swatting at the incoming drones like a cat going after a laser pointer. And the whole exercise proves to be just as futile in the end. Once again, spectacular work by the drone operators. In many cases, these drones are flying slowly, inexorably towards their targets. You could literally see the rivets on the armor of all the Russian gear that is about to be wiped off the face of the earth. Now we're going to move on to the next story, and there are literally no longer any green zones or safe rear areas deep behind Russian lines anymore. Ukrainian aviation just delivered 2 high-precision strikes with GBU-62 JDAM-ER guided bombs on a concentration of Russian armed forces personnel in a building in the village of Tyotkino in the Kursk region. Now, the target was a building where, according to confirmed intelligence, a large group of Russian military personnel was located, both newly arrived personnel and troops who had just completed their rotation from the front. The strikes were carried out with maximum precision. Guided munitions with the JDAM-ER kit can hit targets from a distance of tens of kilometers, yet with accuracy of just a few meters. You know, the ER in JDAM-ER stands for extended range. But for some Russian commanders, it's probably going to be excruciating rage as well when they see the results of the handiwork of the Ukrainians. But then again, if you don't want to see stuff like that happening, don't invade the sovereign country. Food for thought. And with this, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.